We came to the cabinet as the security establishment with all the ingredients, Shabak and Mossad and the IDF and all of them. And the idea was that we will restart the negotiation by pulling off Netzarim, creating proportions between hostages and prisoners that's supposed to be released. And this was adopted by the Israeli government in the late days of April. Somewhere in Passover, in the last days, I don't remember the exact day. And it was at 5 or 6 p.m., the cabinet was meeting. And although this information was very confidential, and I will tell you what is the details that were decided on the war cabinet. The details were that we are moving towards a deal, withdrawal from Netzarim corridor.
So the corridor in the center, the center of Gaza, yeah.
We will withdraw from this corridor. And the decision that the cabinet take in consensus, Bibi and Gantz and myself vote for it, was that we start from the number of 40 hostages, which was only an opening position. We will aim to 33, which is the right number. And the last line, when you stop, is 18 hostages. If you have 18, there is a deal. 17, no deal. Okay? This was part of the mandate. And this was very confidential because if the enemy hear that, you know,
he negotiate down.
Yes, he will play with us. Few hours later, after the war cabinet, the full cabinet is meeting. And the full cabinet, Smotrich is entering into the cabinet.
Betzalel Smotrich, so the finance minister.
Finance minister, who is part of the full cabinet, but is not part of the war cabinet, right, is entering into the room and said, we are going to leave the government because they are going to decide, the war cabinet, they are going to decide about the deal on 18 hostages. How did he learn about it? I don't know. But no one in the cabinet, in the full cabinet, understood what he is speaking about because they weren't exposed to the information. And at the same time, I got reports for the Shin Bet that they are having in Israel a successful negotiation with the Egyptians, and it started on the right way. And there is, there is a room to maneuver, and we are going forward. And a few hours later, I got a call from the Prime Minister. It was close to midnight, maybe 11 o'clock. And he said, did you see what's going on in the media? I said, no. What's going on in the media? I don't have time to watch media. He said, we are being attacked by all the different players in the media for negotiate a deal on 18 hostages. I said to him, if all the cabinet members and all the military and security establishment was in favor, how it got to the media? And he didn't answer me. He said, everything is on the media and I'm canceling the resolution that we had the same day at noon. I said to the Prime Minister, with all the respect, first of all, you cannot cancel a resolution because it was taken by the war cabinet. And we have 3 of us in consensus. And if you change your mind, you should convince Gantz because I'm not convinced. I think we should go forward. And later on, Hamas recognized that we are dealing about 40. But at the same time, the Israeli media is speaking about 18. So he said, why should I deal about 33 if they want 18? And basically the deal was collapsing. And it was collapsing because of a leak that went from someone from the Israeli system to the Israeli media and eventually was exposed by Hamas. So this is something that I think shocked me because this was a war cabinet resolution. And the goal was dear and important. And the conflict inside the cabinet was clear, the full cabinet. Ben-Gvir and Smotrich didn't want a deal for their own purposes. All the rest understood that this is a good deal, basically. And the deal collapsed. That's what happened. So this is the phase of April. Then the American president on May 28 took the Israeli proposal, put it as his proposal and said, we adopt this idea and went in public. Now, the only difference was that he was speaking about one phase and we were speaking about two phases. So during June, there was an ongoing conversation in different places in the world in order to shape the situation to two phases. And eventually, on July 3rd, Hamas announced that they agreed to two phases. One, humanitarian phase, and second one is the rest. And this was paragraph 8 and 14 in the agreement. And it was achieved. They breached to our proposal. And this is the presidential announcement. So by the beginning of July, the conditions were ripe to start the detailing of the final agreement. And then it took us 25 days to answer. And I said to the Prime Minister, you are going to give them an answer that they will not accept because this is the negotiation. Do it today to save time. We gave the answer only on July 28 or 27. We wasted 3.5 weeks for nothing. There wasn't anything on the table. And on July 28, we came with a series of new conditions. And I have no expectations from Hamas. The only thing I want from Hamas is to kill them. But I have expectations from the Israeli government. And the expectations is to do anything possible to bring the hostages. Because these are Israeli citizens that were kidnapped from their beds or Israeli soldiers. And because this is a goal of war. And the goals of wars should be achieved. And the hostages is something that is there for a given period of time. This is a TST, time-sensitive target. If you don't achieve it on time, it can disappear. And we knew they are suffering.